Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another quick all hands on deck. I'm currently in my dressing gown because I've been just following the news this morning and haven't even got in the shower yet. But I want to put a quick note out. We all know that what's taking place now has been utterly engineered. The establishment wants to see what's happening in the UK happen, so they can bring in further restrictions and control mechanisms. We all know where this is going, and Tony Blair's actually kind of leading the way on this. Keir Starmer's nothing but a tool, as we know. And as a result of that, we're starting to see these riots happen. And I'm afraid those that are doing the riots and smashing up property and so forth, you're not going about this the right way, guys. You're not. Um, what we actually need to do is unite. Now, a lot of people struggle with that because they're like, well, hang on a minute, it's these other these other religions and ethnicities and people are the reason we've got these problems. But we have to be realistic and we have to be practical and we have to be a little bit kind as well, actually. So I think what I would do if I was in a position where I had any form of kind of authority in any situation was I'd bring leaders together from the various religious ethnic groups and have a conversation. A lot of them actually, surprisingly or non-surprisingly, aren't all that keen on the massive immigration, illegal immigration themselves. And there's an opportunity here to come together and compromise and negotiate. And personally, that's what I think we should see happen. Now, whether Farage is going to come back in the room, he's made an announcement this morning to recall Parliament and have these conversations in terms of what the issues are that we have. And that's a really good thing, I think, in terms of someone's got to start the conversations off. Let's be perfectly honest. But I think what we need to do is go forward in our communities and speak to each other and find common ground. And I think the common ground could sensibly be the incredibly high amount of illegal immigration. I absolutely think that could be a negotiable way forward. And so I'd encourage everybody who is in a multi-ethnic community to reach out to other group leaders and try and pull together these conversations from both sides, bringing everyone to the table and unite around the fact that it is the establishment that have brought us to this point. It is the establishment that has made this happen, the establishment that's allowed this huge influx of illegal immigration, knowing damn well what they were doing and they were riding people up. I wonder whether the illegal immigrants have genuinely just been brought here to trigger a potential civil war. So if that's the case, if we all turn on each other, we're just literally walking into their trap. We're absolutely walking into their trap. So I would suggest actually this is a time for unity and we come together and we turn and face the establishment and we do it side by side. They fear nothing more than unity. I don't think there's much more they worry about than us coming together because once we do that, it's game over. While they can take the opportunity for us to turn on each other, lovely jubbly, let's get to it. And here, let's have some digital ID and let's chuck in some more police powers and blah, 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 blah. So we know where this likely goes. So actually now is a time more than ever for unity. We put our differences aside, which are small fry compared to what the establishment want to bring down the line. And we have those conversations a little later, and we do have those conversations. We do let others know what our concerns are, what our fears are, what our worries are, and we listen to what they've got to say and we find some middle ground. I do not think we lose our culture. That has to be the line in the sand. And I think other cultures need to accept that. And in fairness, I think a lot of them would understand it if you actually had an open conversation, because how would they feel? They wouldn't like it. So why should we tolerate it? But that doesn't mean to say there isn't a way of finding unity and finding some peace and some understanding, some comprehension, which is missing on all sides at the moment. But actually, we need to unify and we need to turn and face the establishment and have a revolution. And it doesn't have to be a physical, highly damaging revolution by any stretch of the imagination. Because if you all come together, you mitigate the need for violence, you mitigate the need for negative impact. You just work together in a non-compliant, slightly irritating to them kind of way, and you draw a line under it. You create a list of demands, you all abide by those demands, and you stop press effectively. So I wanted to quickly put this out there. Now, also, we're looking at the economic side of things. We've seen some stock market. Japan's looking like it's in a really, really difficult position. We've seen a lot of crypto lose massive value overnight, and the whole kind of stock market, global stock market, is looking shady. It's looking wobbly. So we knew they're going to escalate war. We're going to have an economic collapse. They might try and bring another virus. Um, Certainly instability within nations, caused by intentional mass migration. We knew that. I mean, I was looking at documents on this back in 2013, 2014. I knew this was coming down the line. So we're at that point now. It's kind of weird that it's actually finally happening in real time after all these years that I've been suggesting that this is where it would potentially lead to. A little bit of word of warning and advice, not saying it's necessary, but I plan for the worst, hope for the best. So just make sure you've got a bit of food, bit of water, a bit of cash, got some fuel in the car. Just be a little bit sensible in case the plug gets pulled for a little bit, and you're protecting you and yours. That is key. If you go out, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Ooh, excuse me. If you go out into the community, just stay peaceful, stay calm, hold the line. These are our brothers and sisters, whether we like it or not. This is the reality. We're all humans, and actually, we need to turn and face the demons. And I would suggest everyone does everything they can to bring unity. It is the most important thing we could do right now. There has never been a better time for us to turn the other cheek to this at this moment to some things. Do not get me wrong. There needs to be justice and accountability for the horrific things that have happened by many different people and extremists across the country from different ethnic backgrounds. It's not just a Muslim situation here, guys. We need to remember that. And actually, a lot of the issues that have been caused in terms of knife crime are coming from Somalians and other African nations that have illegally entered the country. And those guys need to be held to account. But right now, we need to be making sure that we unite the vast, vast majority of people. We eradicate the crime happening in our communities, but we ultimately turn and face the establishment and take them down. We absolutely need to take them down. And that's all areas of the establishment. This isn't just about government. This is all areas of the establishment. I think a lot of us, most of us understand how deeply infiltrated the evil is, and it needs to be outed and removed from society into some nice prisons. So anyway, I just want to put that out there. Stay a little bit calm. Let's be a little bit sensible, whether we like it or not. Some people we disagree with, we're going to have to unite with over the coming weeks. A lot of what is rolling out now, remember, this is for the normies. This is to awaken the normies. And we can either lead them down a dark path or we can lead them down a path of light. And let's be smart about this and head down the side of light. What we've got to remember is a lot of the guys on the left and these eco warriors and other people like that, they actually care. That's why they're so passionate. Now, the fact that they're wrong is almost irrelevant in a sense if you put it into perspective that they give a shit. These people genuinely believe in what they've been told. They genuinely, don't get me wrong, there's infiltrators in every area, but the majority of people believe what they've been told and they actually care. They actually think they're right and they care, and that's why they are so passionate and sometimes can become dickheads, quite honestly. But it's coming from a place of love, it's coming from a place of caring, and we need to just remember that a little bit. Just remember that the fact that they're wrong and they've fallen for the brainwashing is unfortunate, but they're human beings, they're brothers and sisters, and we do have to find the will and the power and the love to unite. And it sounds a bit namby-pamby, but actually it's the smart man's move. So anyway, just want to put that out there, just a nice quick update, because I just want people to just stay calm, hold the line, connect with others in your community, look for a peaceful way forward, find that common denominator. That common denominator is the freaking establishment, I'm telling you, it absolutely is. Now, whether they see that or not is another matter, but you've got to try. So today, at some point, I'll be heading into the local town to see if I can connect with anyone from our Muslim community as a starting point, because nothing's kicked off there. There isn't a big presence of Muslims in our local town, but it's there nonetheless. And we need to be having these conversations, because what I can say to them here, they can infiltrate through to other Muslim communities. And so we go with this into it with an open heart and an open mind and an understanding that these people are scared as well. And ultimately, the people that have engineered this, the people that have allowed this to happen are the establishment. It isn't about a Labour government, it isn't about Tory government, it isn't about any of that. It is about the establishment. They're all the same, all the same. Um, so stay calm, hold the line, a bit of bread in, get some loo roll, don't go nuts, don't need to. Economic crash potentially happening, war. We've got Iran suggesting they're going to start attacking Israel today. That'll lead into World War III. There'll be a threat of nuclear, no doubt. They might try and do a lockdown, whether it be through because of rioting, whether it be because of a virus. You know, they're going to pull everything out the bag that they can. And we can either fear it or we can embrace it. And I suggest you embrace it, because what it's going to do is it's going to wake up the normies. That's what we need to see happen. Once the normies wake up, this is game over, because once everyone's on the same page, we unite and we destroy them, absolutely destroy them. We decimate the entire lot. We take down all their networks, all their abilities to function. But first and foremost, let's do what we can this week to bring a bit of sensibility, be the adults in the room, have those conversations, broaden our minds to remember the fact that these are other human beings. And whilst we stand by the fact that we have to rescue our culture, and we have every right with which to do that, most of these guys do accept that, and they understand it. It's just the small extreme minorities on all sides that are potentially going to bring the trouble, when in fact what we should be doing is sitting around a table diplomatically negotiating. So anyway, and if anyone knows any faith leaders out there, or groups from different ethnicities, I'd be more than happy to facilitate a telephone call, a Zoom call, and have everyone sat around a table having a conversation. Because quite honestly, that is what needs to happen right now. But I don't know whether anyone in government will have the cojones or even give a shit enough to try and bring peace. Let's face it, they don't particularly want peace. It doesn't work for their narrative. It doesn't work for their plans. So if there's somebody out there, it doesn't need to be me, somebody out there who is in a position to bring together these faith leaders and start having these conversations and start negotiating and finding a compromise right now, and putting our eyes back on the prize, which is the establishment, then that would be fantastic. But just watch out. There'll be lots of bombs dropping, hopefully not literal, but lots of bombs dropping over the next week or so. And it is primarily happening to wake the normies up. So just bear that in mind. It's real, but there is a purpose behind it. So anyway, have a good day. Have a good week. Don't stress. I'll try and get back in this week, because there's going to be a lot happening, a lot going on, and we'll figure it out together. I'll be doing a longer one, hopefully in the next couple of days. But God bless. Have a good day, and we'll speak soon.